worse than a week-old lavvy.
Welcome back, everybody. Smokestrider here. This is the Meeting the People of Whitechapel episode.
The wet boots will be proud of me.
So, what we're going to do is we're just going to get to know everybody here in Whitechapel like we did in Pembroke. Let's start with this guy.
Are you all right?
The bastard at the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Alright. Oh yeah, we found a note for this guy, so let's check that out.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
Free? You may soon find out that you have simply traded one set of shackles for another.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
He was a fool joining a gang.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Yes, you did. And it was cowardly and inexcusable.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
Alright, and we don't have any hints.
Goodbye, young man.
The wet boots.
He has fatigue. Let's go ahead and...
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right?
Let's go ahead and
Do you need
give him a
assistance?
checkup.
Please. Feeling
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
very funny.
Alright,
Goodbye,
treatment for
young man.
fatigue.
Me? I'll not die in
Administered.
some piss-stinking alley reeking
Now
worse than a
on
week-old
to
lavvy.
the other guy. Benjamin Palmer. Let's go talk to him. Looks like he's drunk.
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
You
Let's
don't
do a
seem
medical
well, Benjamin.
checkup.
Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
We don't have treatment for migraine, so we can't help him.
I will see you later.
But let's go ahead and ask him a few personal questions.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just frayed me last nerve.
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar, a coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
Yes. Sounds like shell shock. I've seen a few cases like yours. This is nothing you should be ashamed of, Benjamin. And it's perfectly natural in your situation.
I'm not ashamed. I just need my pills. Peace and quiet, that's all.
Tell me
What
about
can you tell me about this place?
Whitechapel.
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
Have you no
You
family?
don't have anywhere to go. No family that would welcome you.
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
Oh, Benjamin Palmer is Albert's dad.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. And now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's just a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper.
As long as you have the money.
Alright. So he's got a migraine. We don't have the recipe to cure that
This
yet.
has been proven by many. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
This seems like a snake oil salesman.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
What about your life?
Tell me,
Here.
who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Alright, and personal questions. We don't have any.
I'd like to
Let's
see what
see
kind
what
of medicine
stuff
you're
she's selling. Let's buy a cordial. See what's even in it. Oh, opium. And let's go ahead and sell the bottles of alcohol that we don't need. And the cheap gin. And the empty bottles. And we'll keep the large box of pills so that we can break that down. She's healthy, so no need for a checkup. Still got quite a few people, I believe, that we need to see. Yeah. Quite a few. Oh, excuse me. Doesn't really look like anybody's out currently. Oh, the people are over here, alright.
I don't have your money. Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Alright. Let's ask him about his life.
How
How's
is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Looks like there's a new investigation. Let's ask him about Dorothy.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Alright, let's check out his wares.
Show me what you...
He's got handle parts. He's got screws, grease. Nothing I'm really looking for in particular. Maybe if he had some items that I could purchase and break down. He's healthy. Let's talk to this Joe Peterson guy.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have
Let's
you
ask
heard of
about
a nurse
Dorothy as
named
well.
Dorothy Crane. She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
What do you do around
May
here?
I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Do you enjoy bullying people?
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
So they used to be best friends, eh? No hints.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Why am I running that way? There we go. Guess the key got stuck.
I should never have taken up my father's business.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way.
That's a straight up
There
lie.
are pain and suffering in this world.
No one asked me to come see you. But first, let's pilfer your house. Cause I'm a horrible person. At least I'm not gonna
It's
eat
locked.
you. I'm just gonna steal all your stuff. Job refusal letter. So that's actually something that we need to do. Let's take a minute to go through some of the things I've collected. So we've already read that one. The Bond of the Dragon. Alright, so we have 4 new things that we need to read. Let's read the Bond of the Dragon first. Concerning the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, I would advise our members to be very wary about these so-called scholars. Yes, indeed, most of them are always affable and respectful whenever they approach us, but it would be quite unwise for a discreet circle like the Ascalon Club to foolishly speak about our goals, our members, or our traditions. I also would like to remind our fellow members that the Brotherhood itself is ancient enough to have some mysterious traditions. One of them, according to some informants, could be the ritual of the so-called Bond of the Dragons. It seems that, in certain conditions, when the Brothers of St. Paul find a violent or bloodthirsty immortal, they call upon him this ban. What it is exactly, I don't know. Does it really exist? I don't know for sure either. But what I've established as facts is that whenever a hostile or vindictive vampire has threatened London, it disappears without a trace after the Brotherhood pronounced a ban. I guess it's ban, not bon. Upon him. The loyal Fergal Bansha himself has never been foolish enough to openly provoke the Brotherhood. This is a lesson we must all remember. Never be considered a dragon by the Brotherhood. From the Law of Ascalon, by Lord Redgrave, the founder. Rare species of vampires. As a scholar and exegete of ancestral writing, I would never insist enough about the importance of taking legends and ancient folklores into account when searching for hints about hidden or lost secrets. A common mistake is to take what we know for an established truth and use it to discard any contradictory material. For example, we must consider the possibility of undiscovered species of vampires and the necessity to rethink what we see as the established truth about the various types of immortals based on what we know and what we gathered through time. For how many centuries did we consider that vampire was the vernacular term for what we had learned to call Ekon, until the day 4 explorers of the Brotherhood found proof in Siberia that Volkods were a lupine type of vampire. We considered these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Now we know it is not true. What about the rest? What about the Rakshasa from my homeland? What about the Chinese Jiangxi or the Puchin of southern Chile? And without even leaving the beautiful Great Britain, what about the stories about bat-shaped women sometimes seen flying around St. James Church in Louth? What about the creature only identified as a disaster in some obscure testimonies, which tried to destroy London in 1666 by spreading plague all around the city? What about the Nimrod, the mythical figure of the restless vampire hunter, sometimes described by ancestral British Ekons as a legendary huntsman who only feeds on his prey's blood and could go unnoticed amongst the mortals and immortals? I tell you, my brothers, we never can be too sure of what we could find. If only we could forget for a few minutes what we're supposed to already know. From Unveiling the Night by Usher Talltree, Primate of St. Paul. So that's interesting. So that sewer beast that we fought was a Vault God? That's interesting. So it's a wolf-like vampire. Okay, that's cool. Oh, excuse me. Just ate dinner, so having a little indigestion, I guess. Professional vampire hunters. If you ever suspect someone to be a vampire, don't try to kill it yourself. You have no chance. Instead, contact me or try to inform a professional vampire killer. These men and women are rare, but they know what to do against these evil creatures. It even seems that some of them are working together under the name of the Guard of Prewin, a paramilitary organization dedicated to the eradication of the vampires in London. They are your friends. You are not alone. Solutions exist. Be smart. Spread the word. Clarence Crossley. For more information, please contact me directly. New practices, new tactics. I know that some of our companions considered that the best advantage we have in our fight against leeches is that they can't go out during the day. Thus, we can hunt them down when they hide, powerless in their sleep. This is a rookie mistake. First, because vampires are clever, and they have countless ruses and tricks to avoid being spotted in their den. Second, because they deploy many deadly traps to kill any intruders in what they consider their most precious sanctuary. It would cost us too much men and too much time to explore and eradicate vampires in their hideouts. The best tactic is to follow and destroy them when they really are vulnerable, when they hunt at night. It is much easier to attack them then, for they can easily be spotted. That's why the Guard of Prewin must evolve and deploy new tactics to hunt leeches. Small and mobile patrols, tactics based on technological advantages, modern communications. We can learn many things from the war in France. New strategy, new equipment, and new weaponry. Grenades, white phosphorus, ultraviolet light, bulletproof vests, and flamethrower. It is time for the Guard to embrace the 20th century. From A New War by Jeffrey McCollum, Prewin's leader. Alright, and then we have several of these things that we can read, but we'll take some time to do those maybe later. Or, actually, we'll do it now, and I'll just put in a timestamp or something that you guys can jump to if you don't want to listen through all the reading. Job refusal letter. Dear Mr. Peterson, it is my duty to inform you of our refusal to accept your application for a job at the dockyard. I must thank you for the time spent at our office explaining the difficulty of your situation with your ill boy and the loss of your beloved wife, but it is also my duty to point out the policy of our company which expressly reproves the employment of former criminals or convicts. Your unfortunate connections with the ill-famed Wet Boot Boys have been duly noted. These are hard times, sir, and Finch and Harper intend to reward first the candidates who have passed the small inquiry we like to conduct about our future employees. You have my deepest sympathy, and may God be with you and your family. Sincerely, R.D. Harper. Report about Pembroke. We already read that one. Text in Braille, we need to find someone who can read that. Mr. Bates must stop. For months, for years maybe, Cottigan Bates has exploited us. Mr. Bates must stop. If we had more money or proper jobs, we would never rent any of his extortionate flats. Mr. Bates must stop. We all know what revolting solution he proposes to the women who can't pay the weekly rent. Mr. Bates must stop. Let's meet him together soon and demand for an immediate change. Wet Boot Boys. Alright, we already read that one. Nurse Crane's voucher. Letter of Rakesh Chandana. Pembroke Hospital, 4th of August. Dear Dr. Swansea, I will be glad to manage the temporary morgue as soon as it's opened. As I have already told you, I was a doctor during the war, and I will be glad to serve my country again. I know it is not the same being a physician for the dead as it is for the living, but I believe it is important to welcome and take good care of our departed too. Rest assured I will do my best to fully perform this new duty to the best of my ability. Concerning the question of my qualifications, I'm sorry I can't give you anything more valuable than my parole. I swear to you that my regiment made me a doctor during the war, and I saved many lives. If my word is not enough, you can contact the military administration to verify my experience and skills. They will confirm that even if I never followed any medical studies, the war taught me what a doctor really needs to know. Always, sincerely, Rakesh Chadana, former doctor. So, he wasn't a real doctor. Interesting. Note to Dr. Swansea, Pembroke Hospital, 23rd of October. Dear Edgar, this note is not for the Pembroke administrator, but for my old friend. Since our short discussion 2 days ago, concerning the possible promotion of the esteemed Waverly Ackroyd as the new chief surgeon of Pembroke, I have finally concluded that it wouldn't currently be in the best interests of the facility. Don't misunderstand me here. I'm convinced that Ackroyd is a very competent physician, may even admit that he deserves a promotion, but not now. Not while we all struggle to keep the epidemic at bay. For now, we need a clear hierarchical organization, and we must avoid the inevitable frustrated egos caused by such promotion. We need an obeying and dedicated army. If I may even add, this is also a good test of character. I sometimes think Dr. Ackroyd is a little bit too proud, a little bit too eager to be promoted. To face a refusal may be a good way of finding out how he deals with frustration. You wanted my opinion. Well, there you are. I'd be ready to discuss these points directly with our colleague if he ever wanted me to justify my position on his promotion. Always sincerely, Corcoran Tippets. Pembroke Hospital, 25th of October. Dear Dr. Swansea, I must inform you of my deepest reservations concerning the Dr. Thoreau Strickland and Harvey Fiddick case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalized after severe work injury. He may permanently lose the use of his arm if not treated adequately. Dr. Strickland claims that a surgical procedure may save the man's arm completely. I say it may also sever its function for good if complications arise. Our young colleague is an audacious and daring surgeon who might prove a great professional in a few years. But for now, he lacks the skill to perform such a risky procedure. Need I remind you of the mistakes he made in the past, since Dr. Strickland refuses to listen to me? I strongly advise you to forbid him to perform such a hazardous experiment. Very respectfully, Dr. Waverly Ackroyd. M. Goswick's medical file. Mortimer Goswick, male, age 23, followed by Dr. Ackroyd's status convalescent. Yeah, that word. Date of admission 27th of October. Date of release to be determined. Notes: the patient shows many signs of extreme fatigue and major sores on the throat, mouth, and tongue, but no sign of flu. Refuses to speak. Claims it's too painful. Needs rest and healing of throat mucous membrane before any decision can be made concerning his release. Alright, we've already read that one. That's Dr. Strickland's list. Article on Ekins. T. Elwood medical file. We've already read this one. We haven't read this one. Birmingham, 27th of October. Oh, we have read this one. That's to Pippa. Prewin orders. Alright, 30th of October, from G. McCullum to Docks Patrol. Object: multiple deaths in the Docks region. We believe a nasty leech is involved. Locate the beast, purge it, and quickly. Okay, we've already read that one as well. And we've already read this one. Alright. So that is all of the reading done. Whole lot of reading. Welcome back if you skipped. We did quite a bit of reading on different people, some of the doctors, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's get back to meeting the people. We also seem to have earned experience from reading all of those things, so I'll be sure to continue checking them out as we continue. But let's talk to him.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Let's ask him about Dorothy Crane.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Alright, your life in London. Not happy to live in Whitechapel?
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Alright, and personal questions.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
I can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities, but I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reed. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
Fatigue, right?
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Goodbye, young man.
Alright,
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
so he has depression. Interesting. We've got some hints on these guys, but let's not pursue that just now. Let's continue to meet everybody.
Daily routine. Unable.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Fool.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Oh, sexist, eh?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Oh my god, you're an idiot. You don't understand. God helps those who help
I have
themselves.
had enough for tonight. Goodbye.
You're a foolish man. Alright. Got a few more people, I think, that we need to talk
in this
to.
district. I don't. Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
What are you doing
What is
here
a
after
journalist
sunset?
doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a
It's
disgrace.
a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Alright.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Oh, he's got fatigue. Let's go ahead and treat him
Good
for that.
evening,
This is
Doctor.
my last.
Can I help you?
This is my last
Do you need a-
That would be
fatigue
nice of you,
dose.
Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
This is my last
If you
fatigue dose,
persist in
so
investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
I'll need more fatigue when I get back. Who's this?
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling, but I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor, Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christian, my calf server.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from
She
the
a
Pembroke
hoe.
Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her. But I know her name is Dorothea Crasionescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
So she's from Romania, which means it was Romanian that was written in the other language on the note for other Romanian migrants because they're fleeing World War I.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
She has a point.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Many people must deal with poverty, but not all choose to sell their bodies. That was your decision.
And when exactly was the last time you looked for a job? Or worried about the rent, or what, or when you were going to eat?
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Can't treat her. I don't have meds for fatigue. I used the last ones up.
It's locked.
That door's locked. Anything up here? No.
You still want more from Christina?
When we spent the night together, my wallet went missing.
Are you calling me a thief? I don't have your stupid wallet.
I know you. You're a nice girl. Can't we solve this amicably?
No, I don't think so. And if you think you know me just because we shared the bed together, you're just a lousy and arrogant journalist.
So his wallet's went missing, and he believes Christina stole it, which is likely. Entirely possible, actually. Yeah, what's this? A small flower bouquet with a voucher for a free medical checkup hidden between the flowers. And there's one in there. So this is Camellia, named after the flowers there.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
She can't tell me anything even if she wanted to.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Very well.
And she's healthy, so... Alright, let's check out the people. How many more do we have? We're missing 1, 2... and 1 over there. And 1 there. Looks like we got most everybody. Let's do...
I cannot enter.
Let's do just a tad bit more looking around. But I think for the most part we have found everybody that we can at this time, because as we know from the other Meet the Community over at Pembroke, there were 2 people that I couldn't talk to. Actually 3. The woman in the locked room and the 2 guys, war veterans, that we couldn't talk to until a little bit later. So it may very well may be that there's some other people here that we can't talk to
it's
just
locked.
yet as well, so. But let's check out the other side of the church. Anything over here? Is this openable? Yes, yes it is. Oh, there's a scowl, and somebody died. It's pre-wind guard. Ow, he bit me. I'll bite him back. Bite him and that should finish him off. Bite him and that'll finish him off. And we're good. This door is not interactable. Some lead plates. This is a graveyard of some kind. Who has another person? Alright, so we found someone else. Good.
Some of us come to this world all...
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
A poet.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor.
Dang it, I pressed the mouse button. Basically, he was saying that everybody's equal. Good, evil, rich, poor.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Personal questions.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles, and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Don't you think it's a little
Do you
morbid?
not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives, how she survives, whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Creepy.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
Alright.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
So that's that guy. Oh, he's got a cold. We can treat that.
Good evening.
We do actually have medicine
Do you
for
need
that.
medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you...
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Alright.
I'll leave you alone.
There we go. He's in recovery. That earned us a little bit of experience.
Some of us come to this world already touched.
That was locked. But I think since we're on the other side, we can open it now. Yep, there we go. So that's unlocked. We found one other person. we've got 3 people missing. So let's head back towards where we first came in and see if there's more people to talk to that way.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, up here. So that's our main quest, that guy. But we don't want to do that quite yet. This looks like it's... yeah, that's a pre-win guy. So we don't want to go that way. And can't probably... well, let's try it. Can we go back here?
It's locked, all
Nope.
right.
As I guessed. Because it looks like it leads behind this house. And I'm sure it's not going to be easy to get in there. Oh, this guy's dead. Okay, no, not dead. So what's over here? Oh, here's a hideout. And I fell.
It's locked.
This hideout is locked. Oh, this door works. Let's quickly check inside. That was a pre-win guy. Another person. But I think something else killed both of them. There's a dead woman. Let's head upstairs. Oh, this is the hideout. Interesting. Check out this loot. There's 2 doors, one over there and one there. Let's refill all. And I think we're gonna call the episode here. I don't think there's really anybody else that we can find. And if we do, it's just like 2 or 3 people. So, yeah. As always, if you enjoyed, leave a like down below, comment your suggestions. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. That's going to be it for this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.